And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest episode of Game Rivals. I'm one of your hosts, Maximilian X, and as always, with me is the man that does not like NFTs, the man who would blatantly shut down nuclear power plants so that it can't produce any more NFTs. It's Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
I'm good. I don't even know what NFTs are or like the half of it. So yeah, now you've kind of made me like this crypto NFT enemy. Oh man, I don't even know what it is, and I actually don't want to know what it is.
You know what? You're both better off not knowing, and also at the same time you kind of should know because it's kind of and ruining the planet and making nonsense for crypto bros slash rich people to indulge in for because they're bored. I don't know.
Probably.
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of NFT news specifically around gaming that we'll be talking about today. And then, of course, we'll switch into what we've been playing as we usually do. So let's just dive right into the news. So, the first news that I wanted to talk about before we get into the NFTs stuff, because that's going to be really long, it's a dueling news report which dropped earlier this week, which is kind of funny. Um, so, you know how normally when consoles launch, the old consoles stick around for a little while, and then after a while they just stop making them so that they can focus their efforts on making the new console, or in
Okay.
this case consoles. Yeah, so Sony and Microsoft decided to take different approaches to this. So Microsoft did the regular stuff as of 2020. I pretty much um they stopped producing Xbox One S. So if you were seeing Xbox One S still in the wild, that's because there were still some in the in the sales chain, in the supply chain, but they've stopped making them since 2020, which means the ones that are in stores right now are the last Xbox One S's.
I wonder if you can
They
actually
already
find
stopped
one.
make. I think yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Xbox One, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't checked recently, but I think so. But here's the kicker, right? So
I'm gonna check now.
I think when the Xbox One, yeah, you check that while I explain stuff. So Xbox One, the one sad, I'm gonna keep calling it because it was sad.
That's just such a
And
stupid name.
for those that don't know, the sad stands for the Xbox One uh, S all digital edition. And the Xbox One X were discontinued when the Series S and X launched. Makes sense. Frees up more, resources for them to make the Series S and Series X, and they're moving on from the old consoles to the new consoles. Sony basically did the same thing with the PlayStation 4
Pro,
Pro.
but just with the Pro.
You can still, yeah, with just the Pro, not the Slim. And they discontinued the regular PlayStation 4 like years before that. Basically when the Slim was introduced.
I think you can like buy them
Um,
here and there, but like the prices are crazily inflated because of maybe scarcity or there's like a,
and probably because of the confirmation that they stopped making them.
yeah,
Because people weren't aware that they stopped making them. They probably just assumed that it was part of the supply chain thing.
probably. I mean, like
Yeah.
I can see if I can see that it gives me a link to, for example, Amazon, but when you go to the product page, it says temporarily out of stock.
Yeah, that just means it's probably not coming back unless they find a supply somewhere,
Yeah,
like sitting in a warehouse. So yeah, that's the normal thing to do, which makes sense because then it frees up resources for your new consoles. Sony, however, is like, well, we can't produce enough PlayStation 5s. Let's ramp up PlayStation 4 Slim production instead for 2022. It's like, but people want the PlayStation 5.
well, apparently, if there's still a demand for four, otherwise they wouldn't have done it.
They've sold over 100 million. I think it's pretty satiated at this point, and a lot of people are wanting to move on to the next generation. I don't know if, I mean, obviously the reasons would be because the PlayStation 4 Slim is cheaper to make, and that would mean that the profit margin would be bigger if they are able to sell it at decent pace. But now you're basically saying, this is the holdover until we can make more PlayStation 5s, hopefully in 2023. My money is on, like, for both Sony and Microsoft to a lesser extent. They won't be able to ramp up production of it until mid 2024.
I don't know, but like,
That's my prediction.
yeah, like the thing is that you could have the argument that now is the best time to buy a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One S if you can find one, because you have over almost over 10 years of games available for it, plus all those games are cheaper, plus all the new games are coming to it as well for the foreseeable future. um,
They kind of have to now.
yeah, so like in a way it's like the best and I hate it when they use this argument because they always use this argument, but they say like at the end of console generation when the new one is coming out, they always say that the old one, it's the best time to buy the old one because of the
Mm.
argument I just made. But then again, like it is true because I've had a PS5 since the like it came out in November of 2019, no, in 2020, and I got it in December, so like a couple of weeks after launch. And last year I bought like a couple of games for my PS5. Not even a whole lot. And I even missed out on, or skipped out on Ratchet and Clank, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut. Um, like basically all these games, partially because of the price, because I just didn't want to spend $80 on Ratchet and Ghost of Tsushima. So like I'm waiting for a proper sale. But at the second time, on the other hand, it's also like, yeah, but there's not really. I mean, like Ghost of Tsushima, I love that game, but it's not a reason why I own a PS5, you know. And I feel like the same goes for the Xbox. Like if you had an Xbox with Series X, like the only two proper games I would say to play on it right now would be Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5. So like last year, there were any games, there barely any games that came out that justified owning that console. And the same goes for the PS5. PS5 was a little bit more, and then hopefully this year we're gonna get besides Horizon in a couple of weeks, we're going to get God of War, and who knows, and we're going to get Gran Turismo 7 in a couple of months. So it's like this year is looking better, but only. But even though we know next year is going to be the best so far, because then we're going to have
Yeah.
Spider Man 2 and who knows what more. So, like, even now, it's like I tell people that want to have a PS5, are they like, hey, this is going to sound like a snob, but I'm not. But it's not even it's okay to not have a PS5. I'm not trying to be like an elite dude like you were in the last episode, being with like plebs and you know the whole thing we did. Oh, look at you! Oh, you own an old Switch. I have the OLED Switch. It's not like that. It's not like I say like, oh, you plebs, you have a PS4 Slim. Well, I have a PS5. It's not like that, but it's like basically that. maybe I
Okay,
should talk
great.
like this the whole episode, but
Oh no, no, please don't. We don't want to scare off our British fans.
But basically, it's like, it's okay if you don't have a next gen console because there are barely any games that justify having one. So until we get to the point where
True.
Spider Man 2 or Wolverine or whatever comes out and these games don't come to PS4, then you might have like, oh, okay, now it's time to buy a PS5, So go out and buy a PS4 and all those games for cheap. Why not?
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, I would say that, or at least I would argue that Xbox has one thing over Sony, and that is Game Pass.
Yeah,
You can say, like, well, in terms of exclusives, they're finally starting to get games, right?
yeah.
And I'm assuming this year we'll have more Xbox exclusives coming out, or at least starting this year.
I hope so.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
somewhere, I don't know.
they have to.
But there are a lot of third-party games that are either coming day and date on Game Pass, or down the line they come out on Game Pass,
Yep.
which are excellent deals. You pay like 13, 12, 13, 15 bucks a month, depending on where you live. Um, and you get like a whole bunch of games that you can play. Plus, like, don't forget, um, Psychonauts 2 is a Microsoft game,
Yes.
for example. So that one also came out last year. So that's already three games. And it's kind of sad that it's underrated because like the Psychonauts games are really good. I haven't played it yet. I have Game Pass. I still need to try it out. But I do love the first game. I never beat the first game, so I might try and beat it first so I don't get spoiled on stuff. When I play the second game, and it's luckily not too long. Um, might have to use like a walkthrough, like a spoiler-free walkthrough, just so I can get through the game, right? Um, but yeah, like this is part of the reasons why they did all the accusations, right? The same for Sony. The only difference is it's taking, I think, Sony a bit longer to get all these games out. The same for Microsoft, but I think we're reaching a point where all these games will start to come out
I think if it
for
wasn't for
both
COVID, it
parties.
would have been a lot easier. So I think like a lot of
Oh
time
yeah,
was
definitely.
lost
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
getting people to switch to remote working, and also getting people to like you
To
can
switch to remote working securely.
yeah, and you can walk over to anybody's desk now and say like, "Hey man, do you have that asset for me? Or I'm running into trouble with this. Do you know how?" It's like now you have to email or Zoom call or whatever. And like I
Now
think
they use Slack chat.
or Slack, whatever. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I think in the long run, this new way of remote working will actually benefit game development because it allows people to be more productive and be more happy because they're at home, with different life, more time for the family, the whatnot. So happier employees, less sick, maybe
Mm,
less turnover, and if you work from home, generally you're more productive. So it could, in the long run, help actually speed stuff up. But we just, it's like a long term thing. So we just have to wait and see the benefits of it. Plus, we also had like the whole cyberpunk debacle. So like everybody's scared. At least that's how it feels. Like it feels like everybody's scared, and they're like, "Yo, if I feel like if I only have like a hint of that my game might suck, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna delay it because I don't want a cyberpunk debacle on my hands because it will hurt sales, and I am not waiting for that. So I'd rather push
mm,
it and then because that's what you're seeing with Battlefield right now. I mean, like I think I read the other day that Steam has extended their refund policy because of Battlefield 24, specifically for Battlefield 2042, and that
mm,
the player base is dwindling. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's probably because the game came out too early. They should have pushed it till March of this year, and then they would have more time to work on it. I mean, the last patch came out in December, and it's already mid-January, and we still haven't heard anything. And they'll probably do like a big update soon. But that game is really in need of balancing and some content because otherwise people are just going to walk away, which is a shame because it's a really good game. It just needs some polishing.
yeah. I yeah, I'm just checking out the player count, and it has really dipped like a lot, like a lot. So like at the all time peak was on Steam, at least for Battlefield 2042, was 100,000,
Yeah,
100,000 and a half.
yeah.
It's currently at a 24-hour peak at 10,000.
Oh damn. Yeah, the thing is with the Battlefield community is that it's always come back if they heard that the game was better or in a good place. Um, and I mean, like, they really need to do something about it right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And the tricky part is it's completely silent from Dice's point of view. So we don't have an update. We don't know what's going on. It's not like they went out and said like, "Hey peeps, we're back at work and we're working on some updates, but we can't tell you right now what's going on. But hopefully soon, we're going to give you a big update and tell you our roadmap because there's not even a roadmap. There, people don't know what to expect. All they know is that season one of the game is going to start in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. So like that's it. That's the only thing they have, and they know that they're going to do paid content. So like they have a season pass, so you're going to get more. But there's just not a lot of content in the game right now. I got all the weapons now, so I'm like, okay, what should I do next?
I don't know. The funny part is a lot of people are returning to Battlefield 5.
Yeah, me too.
um,
And you'll notice when you go back to five, because I
yeah.
hated on five.
You
a
did.
while back, but now when now you notice the differences, and you're like, whoa, but five is so much more polished. Whoa, you start to appreciate it more.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's still not high, but what the crap? Okay, it's so weird. It's had like this. So I'm just checking out like the 7 day period for Battlefield 5, and it's like a heartbeat. It just goes up and down the whole time. What the heck? This is so weird.
But that's
Like the
what.
past month has been like that. It just ebbs and flows right now.
But it's like I think a lot of people also come back to Battlefield 4, for example. I
Hmm.
haven't, but
I think people are returning to the battlefields that they enjoy the most,
yeah,
because like the 24-hour peak for Battlefield 5 is like 22, so it's a little bit over twice as much as 2042. So I think the whole Battlefield player base has kind of split and diverged
yeah.
into like splinter cells.
That would have been a nice segue if there was Splinter Cell news, but there isn't.
If there was Splinter Cell news, that would have been a great segue. But yeah, speaking of segues, um, we're gonna come into the NFT news, which is the part that I'm kind of dreading the most. I'm gonna just start with one that what came up like last week after we recorded. So everyone's favorite developer, Konami,
Yes, unfortunately,
which I say very, very what's the
sarcastically.
word I'm using? Sarcastically. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Because they decided, you know what? It's this year is Castlevania's 35th anniversary. Instead of I don't know, announcing a brand spanking new like HD remake of maybe I don't know, the first Castlevania, or a HD remake of Symphony of the Night, or Rondo of Blood, which is also like very popular, or announce the DS collection um of games, because they put like three very excellent Castlevania games on DS. They recently released the Game Boy Advance trilogy. Did I say trilogy? No, it's like four games on Game Boy Advance. I think.
Is it
I
like
forget.
a
I don't have the collection.
quadrilogy?
I have no idea what word you'd use for that, but like foursome. I think it's like four games in one.
Okay.
They released that like the ending of last year, which was great. It was a good quality collection from what I've heard. I haven't picked it up yet. I want to, because I have the previous one from like the NES era on my Switch, and I like it. It has like the NES games, the arcade game, the Super NES game. I think it also has Rondo of Blood, like the Turbo Graphics game, like the original Japanese version, not Dracula X, the port to Super Nintendo. And then instead, they're like, we're gonna put out an NFT memorial,
Oh man,
and it's basically just a spinning cube with Castlevania images on it.
that's probably
Or at
crazy
least
expensive.
I don't know. I don't care. It pisses me off to the nth degree, and it just shows how out of touch Konami is.
Yeah, but like,
Like, if you thought, here's the thing: if you thought that Konami was going to come back in a normal capacity anytime soon,
no.
which people were hoping, because they realized that they need to put like emphasis in making games again,
Yep.
so they're ramping up production to less than favorable degrees at this point. CE football, aka
Pass.
wish it was regular PES,
Yeah.
but not regular PES. Um,
Yeah, they really
yeah,
dropped the
like,
ball on that one. No pun intended.
but here's the joke, right? That should have been our first clue
Yeah.
of like the approach that they're taking. That one should have been our first clue. Like, maybe what they're doing is not 100% correct, but at the same time, they also dropped that Castlevania collection, so people were
Yeah.
kind of split, I think.
Yeah, but like, I think this is only the beginning, because I would not be surprised if Activision and EA will jump on this bandwagon real soon
Oh,
with
Activision isn't gonna though.
with FIFA and with Call of Duty. I mean, I this is just like right up their alley.
EA, we already know that they're gonna do it because they already, stuff got leaked out about, their negotiations with FIFA and so, and NFT was mentioned in that.
Yeah.
And when Ubisoft announced that they were gonna do NFTs, EA announced that they were gonna do NFTs,
Yeah.
except Ubisoft beat them to the punch.
Oh,
Um, who cares? Freaking courts.
yeah.
But the joke here is that, like, this is, I don't know when they were going to release this. I'm looking at the Structide article. It doesn't really say when they're planning to do this, but oh, January 12th. So yeah, it by the time that you're listening to this, it's already gone live, and they're releasing 12 pieces of classic Castlevania artwork. They'll go up for auction on the trading site OpenSea. Blech. Um, have fun with those flipping crypto bros. But yeah, it's like, so you have that. You have like I said, Activision is not going to do it because Activision does not need the bad press, and anything related to NFTs essentially becomes bad press.
Oh, but they'll do it like
Um,
when there are rumors. There have been rumors for 2 years that the Call of Duty release for this year will be Modern Warfare 2. So like a sequel
yeah,
to the reboot they made 2019, which was an amazing game because I love that game and I'm definitely going to buy it, even though I'm a hardcore Battlefield fan. But like, I feel that they're gonna like do it close to the launch of that game because everybody will be like, "Oh my god, this game's so amazing!" People will kind of like they will try to sneak it in there so that people
hmm
will not even actually think about it or notice it because they're just so wowed by the unicorn that is Modern Warfare. They're like, "Oh my god, the unicorn!" And then they'll just on the side they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we also have this NFT stuff," but you kind of don't. You're not gonna notice in the beginning because we're not talking about it. We're actually talking about how amazing Modern Warfare 2 is.
I don't know though,
I have a feeling that
because
that's how they're gonna
you
play it.
can't sneak that stuff past people because,
No, no, but
like,
like
for
more like
example,
the
the
announcement won't get a lot of headlines. They'll announce it, but like people they'll do it in a way that like people are distracted by other big stuff, so that they'll still be like, hey, we announced this stuff, but people will be too distracted to notice it because they'll be like, oh my god, the beta for Modern Warfare dropped. Let's play this. Oh, this is so awesome, you know. And then
I don't
people later
know.
on will realize, like, oh shit, they announced some NFT stuff. Oh, why didn't we notice this? Oh yeah, we were too busy with the beta or something else.
I don't know, man. That NFT, like anything to do with NFTs, does, like, anything, even if it's like something small,
Hmm.
will not get overlooked. I'm telling you this right now because, like, for example, recent stupid NFT stuff that got announced. Stan Lee's Twitter page that's being managed by this company announced a NFT,
Oh, okay.
and they pretended like it was coming from Stan Lee himself. I'm like, what the, like, that is so disrespectful and
Wow.
icky.
Yeah.
So there's that nonsense. Then there was another one that was also kind of also kind of just like misuse. It was remember Home Improvement, the show, the
Hmm.
TV show?
Yeah.
The guy that worked next to Tim the Toolman,
Hmm.
like his kind of co-host assistant. Yeah, that dude who played him also announced that he was going to do an NFT. I don't think that he was really into it. I think it was his publicist that was like, "Yeah, like NFTs are hot. Let's do this." And he just said like, "Okay."
Hmm.
And then he got like a lot. They got a lot of backlash, and he was like, "You know what? We're not gonna do this." After the backlash, I see it now. It's like, it's fine. So I don't think he was into it himself, but at least he was around himself to just say like, "We ain't doing this," because people like me for me. Um, and mostly they like him because he played the character on like on Home Improvement, because they will probably most likely recognize him for the character and less for himself.
Probably.
Um, so it's those kind of like really icky things, and now we come to like the ickiest one for gaming so far. Well, gaming adjacent. So very seemingly very nice guy, Troy Baker, looks like super nice guy. Never met the guy, so I can't. judge him on his character on that. Good at what he does. You know, he's a very good voice actor,
Yeah.
very prolific in the gaming industry. Decided that he would join a NFT effort called gosh, I don't know what's it called again. The Voiceverse, where he's partnering with them to explore ways where they can together bring new tools to creators to make new things and allow everyone a chance to own and invest their IPs they create. We have all this. We have a story to tell. You can hate or you can create. What will it be? That's sorry. That's from Troy Baker's Twitter.
Okay.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it says. And it's like, okay, so there's a whole bunch of layers to this. For one, NFTs just like really don't add any value. Basically, you own something because it's on the blockchain and it says on the blockchain that you're the only owner, even though it's a JPEG and you can just right click and save, which is something that Keanu Reeves even made fun of. Which, if you haven't seen that interview where he makes fun of NFTs, look it up. It's on YouTube. Someone probably made a short clip of that, and it's beautiful. Like his reaction is the best. Um, and the other part of this is that one of the things that Vice Verse NFT is doing is allowing voice actors to basically sell their voice in an AI form for people to own fully and can do whatever they want with it.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, that's the weird part of it because I read that information like a while ago, but not a while ago, like a couple of days ago on Twitter about someone talking about this voiceover verse NFT stuff, and he mentioned Troy, but I was like, is he talking about Troy Baker? Because there's like it links to someone else's Twitter thread about the whole thing. It's like a long read. I would definitely look it up if you can. But basically, the whole thing is that they're going to use AI to allow people to like use their voice actors, and then sell it as an NFT, a non fungible token. If you're wondering what NFT stands for, so that means that they own the rights to that person's voice in this AI module, and they can basically essentially use it and manipulate it each way they can. And you know what people like to do when they get stuff that they can manipulate into people saying,
I don't know.
unless you don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, seriously, you don't know? Dude, the first thing that people will do is make them say stuff that they don't, that the person that that is the voice, the actual voice, doesn't stand behind, obviously,
Oh, you mean like hateful stuff and stuff, hate speech and that's shit.
among other things, yeah.
Oh yeah, I never understood why people do that.
Because people do not have lives. Because if they did, they would play video games.
I suddenly can see all sorts of scenarios in which you get people that grab pieces from The Last of Us and then form Joel's voice into that he hates on Ellie because she is a lesbian, or on Lev because they're transgender or stuff, and then you suddenly hear like a Joel voice hating on that, and that's just sad. I'm like, just sad.
Among other people. Because he's not the only one that's part of this. He's just partnering with this NFT group. So he's not the only voice actor that's in this. I don't know who else is. I have to look into it a bit more, but it's kind of really weird. It's kind of a really super weird thing to do. Like, why on earth would you do that? It's bad enough that people are making just like the most gross images and then selling it so that you can say like, look, you own a piece of art, like owning the Mona Lisa. It's like, no, the Mona Lisa has value not just because it's a unique one of a kind thing. It's because it is something that actually evokes emotion in people. It is very beautiful for a reason. People like it for a reason. People see stuff in it for a reason. It inspires people for a reason. Lazy lions and stupid monkeys, whatever the monkeys are called, don't do that. They're just ugly JPEGs.
I mean, it feels like that these whole NFT thingies, at least for like it feels like it's a cash grab. People are like,
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
yeah, like
Yeah.
people are just looking for ways to just make a quick buck, and
Hmm.
they don't
It's
care
the hot
how,
new thing.
yeah, and they don't care how stupid it is. Like I bet people will just take a picture of a turd and turn that into an NFT, and it will bring up money, and then they'll be like, I own this piece of turd picture, and it's I paid so much for it, and look at me. And I'm like, where are we
Who
going?
says they
Oh, they
haven't?
probably have. It's just the stupidest thing I could come up with right now. But like, where are we heading towards as a civilization? That if we're making that kind of stuff and paying for that kind of stuff, I mean, like, and from Troy Baker's side, in a way, I'm not surprised because I mean, like, Troy Baker's an awesome dude, and I watch the Play Watch This podcast a lot, and he's always in it. And sometimes he says stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of not surprised that you're doing this because in a way it's about money because you're not doing it for any art form or anything. And if you cared about people abusing it, then you wouldn't be behind this because you would say like, yeah, but I don't want people to abuse my voice and turn it into something nasty or bad. So like, in a way, I'm not surprised that he's doing this. It's kind of actually disappointing that he does this, you know.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, the same thing goes. Yeah, sorry, you were
I mean,
saying.
like maybe the company that he's partnering with wasn't honest with him about everything, or maybe he didn't get all the details. But then again, I'd say
Oh
he's
no,
like
I'm
an,
pretty sure he has all the details.
yeah, because I was going to say
Pretty
like he's
sure.
not a dumb guy, so you know he's always well informed.
I don't know. I it's like the developers of Stalker did something similar, right? Where they were like, "Oh, yeah, like for Stalker 2, we're going to be selling an NFT which allows you to be in the game." So it's you and you have a unique uniquely you and it's on a blockchain that it is you and will use your likeness. It's like nobody was asking for this,
Yeah,
developers.
yeah,
So they got so much backlash. They're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you know what? You're right. You guys are right. We're gonna like not do it anymore again." Then they retracted it. It's like at least they retracted it because Ubisoft is like 1,000% into the crap that they're in. It's like, mm, Ubisoft, you make it so hard to love you sometimes. You do awesome stuff, but gosh darn it, you do some really stupid stuff sometimes. And that's kind of basically the rant about NFTs.
yeah. I mean,
Because outside of that, I don't know what is gonna happen because it's like the voice verse NFT stuff is pretty recent. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
they'll probably do something for AI for video as well in a bit. So you know, this is just gonna get crazier and crazier.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have to commit some stuff though.
Like
I
what?
can't say what. I have to commit some stuff to prevent like video being added to it. I'm not gonna say what. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
because otherwise I would be possibly incriminating myself.
What?
Let's just move on.
Let's move on. Yes.
um, is there any other new stuff? Because it's still slow. I mean, like here's the thing, right? It's slow on gaming news. Like the most interesting news is this.
Because everybody's just
Um,
coming back from holiday and starting up. Oh, there is a rumor that Sony's gonna do a new state of play in February, I think. And there's also
oh
a rumor that they're gonna release an update really soon, which will contain 1440p support, themes for the PS5,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
VRR support. Because you know that's been a feature a lot of people requested because it's
What
HDMI
the heck is
2.0.
VRR?
It stands for variable rate refresh rate. So what it does
Mm-hmm.
is it syncs the refresh rate to the refresh rate. It syncs the frame rate of the game to the refresh rate of your screen, so it doesn't cause any tearing. So it's like dynamic. Otherwise, like you know, you have like tearing because your monitor is locked at 60, but your game is not doing 60 FPS, and then it causes tearing in the
Yeah.
game. So now it like syncs up both of them, so it prevents tearing from happening. Apparently,
Wasn't that a feature that they announced with the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, but they hadn't brought it out yet. So like the Xbox Series X has it, I think day one, and for the PS5 they were like, yeah, it's a feature we're working on. We're just gonna release it in an update later. But yeah, it's almost been a year, and yeah,
I said it before and I'll say it again. They released the PlayStation 5 way too soon.
um,
Like they're implementing all these features that they promised at the beginning and it's only coming out now. Come on.
I,
Like even the 1440p stuff makes absolutely no sense. I don't even know why that has to require an additional update to support 1440p. Like what specifically about that that what's the word I'm looking for?
resolution.
Resolution requires them to do an update for it. Why is it not baked into
Yeah,
like the operating system already?
I think in this case it's more like of like which feature is more important. And I mean, like 4040p is only something you have on monitors. It's not like you have a TV that supports that resolution. So I think in this case they might have underestimated how many people actually play on a monitor or how much is requested, because normally your console is always in your living room, so it's always hooked up to a TV, so it was always 720p or 1080p or 4K, since it's not like 4040p is a middle resolution, and it's not a resolution used by TVs. So I think in this case they were like, yeah, probably people won't need it because they're gonna play it in 4K. And then suddenly they heard, oh, but a lot of people use their monitors because they have a streaming setup
Yeah,
or they just play there behind their
because
desk.
there are no TVs that as far as I could tell, the highest frame rate I think you can get on a TV is like what, 100 hertz? Are there like TVs that do 120?
Uh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's different. Because like the thing is, like m- like PC monitors do like already like I think like the newest panels that got announced at CES was like 100 and like 300 and something, 350 frames. I
So
mean, I don't know when it's coming out, but like there are panels that are already doing twice as much frames
yeah,
now.
yeah. I think last year already we had 360 hertz and 240 hertz because of
Exactly,
the
yeah.
of the whole NVIDIA Reflex stuff they brought out. So like, but the thing is it was like on 1080p. So now we're seeing
Yeah.
higher resolution screens with higher refresh rates. But like Sony did the SSD upgrade uh, in the summer, which is I think a far more important feature than 1440p. And the same goes for VRR. I mean, like people are making a big deal out of it, but I'm like, it's you need an HDMI 2.1 TV to have that. There weren't a lot of HDMI 2.1 TVs out last year, so it's like
Mm.
you're asking for a feature that requires specific hardware, but that hardware is either not widely available yet or it's still expensive. So what are you seriously making an issue of? It's more like a FOMO, like, oh, it's so awesome. I want this. I'm really missing out, because all the damn YouTubers, tech YouTubers, are talking about HDMI 2.1. But like, I have a 2017 OLED from LG.
Mhm.
I still love the TV. I really couldn't care less about VRR. I couldn't care less about 120 hertz because people seem to forget that if you want 120 hertz, you have to give up some quality. You have to give up some fidelity. The game becomes less pretty. You can't have both. But people don't realize this. They're like, oh, but Maximilian Z, the famous YouTuber, says it's so awesome. VRR.
What is he, my brother?
Your evil twin, and
My evil twin.
and he says 120 hertz gaming is the shit. So I feel left out. So I really need this. It's like sheep mentality.
Mm, yeah. Well, actually, we almost forgot one news article, so I'm actually glad that you brought up Sony. Because
Yeah,
speaking of CES, Sony was there
yeah, I know.
to announce because we didn't talk about this the last time because that was before CES started,
Yeah.
and that was the PlayStation VR 2
Oh, that's right. I completely
got
forgot about
announced.
that.
Yeah, and it has. Oh my goodness! Actually, let me pull up the specs for the PlayStation VR 2 because it is very substantial. Um, it is it is legit next gen like hardware.
Yeah,
Because I was wondering what they were gonna do for for PlayStation VR 2 because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna do that, this and this." And it's like, well, we'll see what happens, because all the other VR stuff is pretty impressive, that other people are doing.
I think they're like they
And
said it's like a single cable, so they don't have like a processing box anymore, and
yeah,
it's both individual 4K 120 hertz OLED
yeah.
panels.
So there are two OLED panels of resolutions of 2000 by 240 per eye. The refresh rate is either 90 or 120,
Yeah,
with a field of view of 110 degrees, which is ridiculous.
yeah,
They also come with new motion controls. It's a six-axis motion sensor, four cameras for the headset, and controllers that are built into like the headset itself.
yeah,
So you don't have to set up like a camera or like these towers or whatnot. And the connection is of course USB-C, so it probably easily connects to the front of the
yeah,
PlayStation 5.
yeah. There's also
We don't
some
know about.
haptic stuff on the headset that makes you feel stuff, so it's not like
Yeah,
only in the
thank you for mentioning
controller.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So not just the controller, but also the headset has like this haptic feedback. It's like
yeah,
I think it's the first headset that's doing this.
yeah,
They are aiming for a holiday 2022 release date, which is way sooner than I thought it would be. I
yeah.
would assume that they were gonna like do the same thing what they did with the PlayStation 5 and just announce it 2 years in advance
But they
and
did.
just slowly ramp up to it.
They announced it last year that they were working on it because they
Okay,
showed the
that's fair.
controllers last year as well.
Really?
Yeah, because they announced the name last year. Or they said like we're working on the next PlayStation VR last year on the PlayStation blog, and then they slowly started to explain more stuff. Like they said, oh yeah, the controllers are going to have haptic feedback, and the controllers are going to have this, and the controllers are like that, and then now they're going into the period like they're actually physically going to show a lot of stuff. I think we talked about this briefly, like pricing, because it's like cutting edge technology for something. So I think I think you said like don't expect it to be 399, but I don't
So
think.
here's the joke on that one.
Yeah,
Apparently, the rumors it's not confirmed, but they expect it to be 399.
I mean it could be because what that's what I said. Like the OLED panels are cheaper to produce now, and I mean like Sony has to sell it at a certain price point to keep it interesting for consumers. Like I said, like either 449 or at the worst 499, but they won't go over that. But I think like 449 is still an acceptable price. Like I personally never tried PlayStation VR. I'm not into VR games. The only thing I would play will probably be Beat Saber. Um,
Mm.
I mean, they announced a Horizon VR game. It looked really nice for a VR game, but I'm still not tempted to buy a VR headset because of it. Um, but I mean, yeah, it's cool that Sony is still committed to VR because VR is kind of like it's like a heartbeat. It has its ups and downs.
Mm. I mean, it's um. So if the rumor is true, right, and they are going to sell it around 399,
Mm,
let's say it's 399. The PlayStation 5 digital is 399, right?
yes.
Okay. So let's say it's 399 for the headset, which definitely means that they're selling that thing at a loss.
Yeah.
Like maybe even a quite substantial one. But if they're trying to compete with
Index or
uh
Oculus or Quest or
I'm assuming they're competing with the Quest 2 specifically. Because the Quest 2 is completely wireless and I think it's 350.
I don't
I
know.
think it's like 350. Dang it, I have to look
But
it
the
up
thing
as
about the
well.
Quest is that it has far less processing power because it's like
True.
more like a mobile thingy.
Yeah, it's 349. But
Yeah.
you can buy the I don't know if they still do that. They did it with the first version. Because the first version had the link cable that allowed you to hook it up to a high-end computer so that you could play Rift games.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I don't know if this has it too. I'd have to check it out, but that's not important right now. The point is, this Quest 2 costs 349,
Yeah,
like right now.
but that's like
So
outdated
if they're
hardware now.
no, because the Quest 2 is an updated version that has like a higher resolution and frame rate.
But didn't it come out last year?
Uh, the the, the Oculus Quest 2,
Yeah.
I think so. I think it did. No, it came out in 2020.
Oh, wow, it's even older.
So yeah, I mean, it has like 128 or 256 storage and 6 gigs of memory. Also has built-in cameras, and it's completely wireless, and it has two wireless controllers for 350.
Mm,
So if you want to compete with Oculus, even if it is a lower resolution solution, hey, um, it's still something that's seen as affordable because it's essentially a console that you put on your face.
yeah, on your head.
So I think if the rumors are true, or even if it's not true, and they do decide to make it 399, they're doing it at a substantial loss, and they're doing it to stay competitive with Oculus.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you have to do these things to kind of keep something alive. Because I don't know if Sony, for example, if because the PlayStation VR is the best selling VR headset out there. It sold well over 1 million. I think it's even sold 2 million maybe. And like I
Hmm.
don't think there are other VR headsets that have sold that number. So like in a way, Sony is vital for the future of VR because they're this major consumer company that allows VR to be played at a pretty low entry level on the most
Yeah.
popular gaming console there is right now. Because even for Oculus, you have like these stupid side thingies, like you have to have a Facebook account. Well, what if you don't want to have a Facebook account? Well, then you can't use
Oh,
the
they're
Rift.
changing that one, by the way.
Oh well,
Well,
finally.
kind of, sorta, because now it's called the Meta Quest.
Ugh, I hate that name.
So much, and they're going. It's going to require a Meta account. So eventually, they'll discontinue requiring a Facebook account, but it's going to the same company. So just naming it something else doesn't make it not the same. You know, you know.
Yeah,
So
so they're gonna make the
it
company less evil.
no, exactly. It's not going to make the company less evil. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If it does hit holiday season this year, we'll probably see more of it at E3, assuming E3 still goes on, even in the digital form, because we know now that it's not going to happen in person, and it's still up in the air if they're going to do an all digital one like they did last year.
Jeff Keighley's gonna do an
So,
opening night live. So
well, that's because it's part of Gamescom, so that makes sense.
no, I think he's gonna do it before, like instead of E3. So in E3 period, he's gonna do one in
So
June.
he's not doing Summer of Games anymore.
I don't know, but he said that he was doing opening night live in uh, around the E3 period, and
Hmm.
generally Gamescom is like in August or September.
Yep, it's usually August. No, no, there's Summer Game Fest coming this year too.
Okay,
Hmm. There's not a lot of information yet, but yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, Return Summer 2022. So I guess we'll see what they're gonna do for that. Maybe it becomes part of Summer Game Fest, but Summer Game Fest is like more his thing, and it's partnered with like Prime Gaming. So not 100% sure what that's all about. Um, but like opening night live is in yeah, it is in collaboration with Gamescom. So I'm not really sure if he's gonna be moving it up or if he's doing something else with it. I don't know.
I
Um,
don't know
Jeff
either.
Keighley is Jeff Keighley is a Renaissance man. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Um, I guess time will tell.
Okay,
And I think on that note, we'll be taking a very quick break, and we'll be coming back with what we've been playing. So stick around. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second and final segment of this episode, which is, of course, as always, what we've been playing. So, Sean Templar, what have you been playing?
I have been playing basically the same stuff I was playing last time. So a little bit of Among Us again, and still same old, same old. People don't trust me, and they just keep shouting and screaming and a lot of
As they
emotional
should.
drama. I mean, the I remember, the one of the last times we played, like when there's an imposter and he triggers like those emergencies, like where you have to go to oxygen at two sides to punch in the code, and if you don't, everybody dies. Or when you have to go to
Mm,
reactor to do that. Like when those things happen, I sometimes go with everybody and try to do the task, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, everybody's gonna go to that anyway, so I'll just do my own task in the meantime. It saves me time to finish my tasks because then I can look at who the imposter is. So
yeah.
one of these times we were doing that, and I was doing the memory task, which is a really annoying one because then it's in reactor. It's like this pattern you see, and you have to repeat the pattern constantly 5 times in a row.
Mm,
But it's really annoying because it's really slow, and it like the task itself takes like maybe 2 minutes to complete. So what happens is the imposter triggers this oxygen alert, and I'm doing this memory task, and I refuse to walk away. I was like, I'm so close to finishing this. I do not want to walk away. I'm just gonna do this task, and I don't care if people see me and they're gonna think it's sus. So what happens is somebody walks into reactor and sees me at the memory task, and they keep looking at me for a while, and then they suddenly run away. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna call an emergency meeting and say, "Why are you standing there?" And what happens? He runs to the button and he does the emergency meeting, and he says, "My name was Muñeño in the game because
yeah.
you had like Chupapi Muñeño. So a friend of mine was called Chupapi, and I was called Muñeño. So he says like, Muñeño, why were you standing at the memory task when the oxygen alert was going on?" And I couldn't hold myself. I just bursted out into laughter, but like so, I laughed so hard and long, I had to mute myself because I had literally tears in my eyes. And I tried to tell them like why I was doing it, but because I was just laughing so much, they were like, "Yeah, he's an imposter. He's sus." Like, "Oh no!" While I'm laughing, I'm like, "No, I didn't do anything," And it just in the end they believed me, but just like that moment because I knew that was going to happen, and then it happened, and then the way they said it, I just laughed so hard I couldn't hold myself. But yeah, besides Among Us, I've still been playing some Formula One 2021. I'm still in my
Mhm.
career with Ferrari. I've just won the Dutch Grand Prix, so we've gone to Italy to the track of Monza right
So you
now.
drove on Zandvoort.
I did, yeah.
How was that, by the way?
It's an interesting track because it's one of the few tracks that actually has like a banking, so like the track
Mm.
is raised in an angle. So
That's a thing.
yeah. Some tracks have that. I think this is one of the few tracks on the calendar that actually has it. So it has like two bankings, and then it makes the track a little bit different because a lot of tracks are like flat surfaces. The track in Belgium is also a really cool one. It's called Spa Francorchamps. It's in the hills, so you have elevation in the track. So it's like it's really cool. You have like this corner called Eau Rouge. So like you come on and you ride down the straight, and then you suddenly have to go up a slight hill, but you can't see what's behind the hill, and you know that it's like you're going like 300 to reach the top of the hill, and then you suddenly have to turn right and then left, and it's
That sounds
creepy as hell.
absolutely
It is.
terrifying.
It is. I mean, like, imagine that you're doing that in real life as a driver. In the game
I
itself,
would rather not, thank you very
yeah,
much.
so like even in the race it's creepy as hell to do that because you don't know what's at the other side of the hill. I mean, like, there could be a car that's suddenly stopping there, or or you could lose grip and then suddenly shoot off the track at 300. um so yeah, yeah, I mean, that's what makes Formula One so nice. It's just the unpredictability. um
Yeah, I didn't know they were riding on those kind of tracks, man. Sheesh. At
yeah.
those speeds, what the crap?
Yeah.
How have people not died? Or wait, people have died.
People have died,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah, like in 2019, a Formula 2 driver unfortunately died at Spa-Francorchamps because of a fatal crash.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I mean, like the FIA, the governing body of motorsport itself, is really about safety. So they are trying to do like a lot of things to improve the safety of the sport, such as like the halo they introduced a couple of years back, which has really saved people. Um, but it's like you also have to have a little bit luck. I mean, like Max Verstappen got a runoff at Silverstone last year, and he hit the wall with like, what was it, 11 G's or something like that. He survived, but like yeah, I mean, it's tricky.
Yeah, otherwise it would be really weird if his ghost won
Yeah.
recently. which
Yeah.
which people I think still are not happy about.
Oh, you have no
So,
idea. It is like there are actually talks of Lewis Hamilton leaving Formula One because he's been like ever since the race, like that weekend, he's been completely silent. Like media dark, black, nothing. You don't hear anything about him. Apparently, he's unfollowed everybody he follows on his Instagram. Is like completely silent. So now people are like, oh, maybe Lewis might actually quit. Oh, is Lewis thinking about quitting? Oh, but he has a contract till 2023 or 2024. I'm like,
I
no.
think he wanted some time for
Yeah, I
himself.
mean, like that dude has such a big ego. He will never quit Formula One. I mean, that guy is so full of himself. People know that I'm not a fan of Lewis Hamilton. So like, he's so full of himself. I mean, the guy has 7 world titles. He's tied with Michael Schumacher. He will
Yeah.
never leave it at that. He wants to be that guy that says, "I got 8 or I got 9 world championships." So he's not gonna quit Formula One. Come on, it's like he's throwing a fit. He's like, "But I was gonna be champion," So like that. But anyways, before we go into this whole rabbit hole around Formula One, um, I've also been playing Battlefield 2042, of course. I've got to the
Any improvements?
Well, there hasn't been any update since. The only thing that has decreased is the way I play and the frequency I die. Because for some reason, I was like, it has like a learning curve, of course. And eventually I got into it and I was just like actually making kills and it was really going well. And suddenly, for some reason, it started going bad again. I don't know why, because I had it hooked up to my monitor. And then eventually I moved my PlayStation back to the living room again. And then, of course, you can notice like there's a little bit more input lag and everything is a little bit more what like when I play in shooter, I have to be up close to the screen because I don't feel like I can't see if I am not close
Hmm.
enough. I miss out stuff. um so I had like this period that I kept on dying and rarely made any kills, which really frustrated me, so I just stopped playing it for a while. And then I went back to Battlefield 5. And then it really made me appreciate what kind of a good game Battlefield 5 actually is, because it's just so much more polished.
The joke is that when that game launched, it was also not
It was
received
horrible.
well.
Yeah, it's what like when you
Because
think
I
it.
remember you talking about it,
Yeah,
like also dunking on it
yeah.
too.
But like if you think about it, like that game has had 2 years of polish or 3 years of polish of constant updates. So now it's kind of finally to the
Yeah.
point where it's like actually a good game, but you don't realize that. But it also made me realize that like there are some systems in Battlefield 2042 that are actually broken, because like aim assist is crucial on a console. You don't need it on a PC, but on a console it is crucial. And either the aim assist is off in 2042 or it's not working properly, or like the detection isn't working. But like a lot of times I would just miss a target, or like I would move my right analog stick too much and then I would just get killed. Whereas in Battlefield 5, like, works spot on. And the same goes for hitboxes. Like I feel in 2042 sometimes with certain guns you can shoot like really next to the person or a couple of meters
Hmm.
next to the person and it still registers it as a kill. Because like yesterday I was playing with a gun and I was really spraying and praying, and I just got people, and I'm like, this feels like the hitboxes are so off because I don't really think like I actually hit the guy, but I still
I think the
headshotted him.
hitboxes are still broken. I
Yeah,
think.
because I even headshotted a couple of people. I'm like, this could not be a headshot. This is just not possible. But the game still
Yeah.
detected it as a headshot. So um, I think, or I feel like one of the first things that Dice should do is just do this massive balancing act on the game, because the guns are literally broken. I mean, some weapons are so overpowered, and the same goes for choppers. Like, there are choppers that have rockets, and when they start hitting you, your character starts to stagger so much that he can't move anymore. So it's like it's almost like the game is glitching out, and then you already know, like, okay, I'm gonna die. You don't have a fair chance of running away, um, which is a shame. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit more of Battlefield 5. I'm enjoying that as well. And then I haven't played it yet today, but I felt like I heard this calling. I got there was a messenger on a horse that came back to my house, and they told me that China must grow larger once more.
Oh, let's go!
so,
Let's flip and go!
so I was
He
like, so
returns!
I was like,
The Emperor!
let me dust off my sword and my crown. I shall return to the three kingdoms and restore order. so I,
Yo! You haven't played that game in a while.
yeah, last time I played it was April last year, and I saw that I've put in 121 hours. So I thought like, yeah, it's time for a comeback. So I installed it, I patched it, but I haven't started it up yet. So in the days to come, I will be going back to the three kingdoms of Rome, of
Oh my
Romans of the three
gosh.
kingdoms. Yeah,
Of
total war. Yeah,
going back to China.
China will finally grow larger once more.
Glolaja.
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly, you know what? If you do return to not when you return back to streaming, I kind of feel like you should try and figure out and stream that because I think a lot of people would actually be interested in seeing that. And like I've seen you play it, and I gotta say I do enjoy it. I do enjoy seeing you play like
Thank you.
Total War Three Kingdom. So
Yeah.
definitely something worth looking into. But yo, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Speaking of China will grow larger, we need to figure out go returning to
Generals.
generals
Oh
again.
yes,
Yes.
yes, that would be very
Yes.
nice.
We go back to command and conquer.
Oh man, I miss that. But
So
that's it. Yeah, what have you been playing?
yeah, so for me it's been uh not a lot. So there's a few things that I've been playing, mostly because I'm streaming, of course.
Hmm.
So the stuff that I've been streaming was Astroneer recently,
Woo! I love it.
and I don't know if you've been to my Instagram page recently, but I posted some clips of it.
I saw a tractor
Um,
getting catapulted or something like that in the game. Oh no, you were
yeah,
dropping
I
down
fell
a
into it.
hole.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I got a buggy, and I was so happy that I was like driving around. I was like, yay, I can drive around. I'm so much faster. And then I almost fell into a crevice. Like, ooh, that was very close. It's not gonna happen now. And then I fell into a, as I was saying that, I fell into a crevice. It was like, no. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's fine. Let me see if I can find a hole that I can dig myself out into. And I'm driving around underground, and I fell even more.
Oh shit! Really?
I was like, no, I'm gonna die here. And then I found out the buggy is a source of oxygen, and as long as it has power,
Yeah.
it'll give you oxygen and power.
Oh
And for
nice.
some reason, underground you can still get wind because I put like this wind turbine on
Yeah.
it so that it generates power for it, and basically whenever it the wind blows, and the wind blows underground.
Oh
So I
okay.
had infinite energy. So I was like, oh no, my Astroneer is going to starve to death in this underground. It's a good thing you can't starve in Astroneer.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, did they add food into the game?
No, no, thank
That
goodness
would
not.
actually be nice.
But oh man, that would be just an added source of stress. I don't think that would make the game fun though.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna dig myself out? So I tried to dig myself out. I was able to dig myself out. I don't know why. I don't know how. I still did it. And it took like a half hour for myself to dig out. When I
Oh my
finally got
god.
to the surface, I was just like,
Light.
yes. And like the chat was like, yay, you did it. And like,
Nice.
it's so
That game
frustrating.
is pretty stressful when you end up on the ground.
It's very stressful when you die of oxygen deprivation.
Yeah, it's so like your Astrid dies like in a cute way, even though it's a horrible death. But like he does
Yeah,
it in
it's
such a
like,
cute way, you're like, oh no. Yeah.
yeah. So, I've played it one more time on stream, but I've also played it offline, off stream, just to build some stuff. Last time, this was off stream, so people haven't seen this yet, but they will the next time. So I was doing very well, unlocking a lot of new blueprints. One of them was the small spacecraft and the solid fuel booster.
Can you actually fly around in those?
Kind of, sort of. You can go to other planets, or you can fly to like destinations that you have marked, like beacons, where
Ah,
beacons are and stuff like that. So you can fly around, but all you can do is like say, I want to go to orbit, or I want to go to another planet.
it's kind of like fast travel.
Yeah. So if you decide to go to another planet, make sure you use a engine that is not solid fuel.
Oh,
Because if you use solid fuel, the engine blows up on reentry
really? Why?
or when you land because it's a solid fuel rocket. It's a single use thing,
Oh, okay.
which is weird because if you just land on the same planet,
It doesn't do that.
nothing, it doesn't do that.
Oh, that's weird.
So, yeah, last time I played, I got stuck on a planet that I don't know with zero resources.
Uh oh.
So, I have to figure out a way to get the resources from this planet so I can use that to build a new solid fuel engine to go back to the main planet.
Oh shit. Oh man. Well, at least you have your space vacuum thingy with you.
Yeah. And also the shuttle um or the spacecraft is also a constant source of oxygen.
Oh, nice.
So I can't really wander very far, so I have to make some tethers first and then put them down. They did do some really sweet updates to it. I don't know when the last time you played it, but one of the things that they've changed is how oxygen tethering works. So you used to have a tether right next to your shelter.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get oxygen to it. Now, the way it works is that you can get oxygen from whatever platform you have put out on the field,
Oh, that's
as
nice.
long as it's connected with the power cable to this to the shelter.
Hmm.
You see like these blue lines going past them,
Okay.
and
Nice.
that's like the oxygen line. So when you put a tether next to like a large platform or a medium or a small platform, you can see like a blue tether coming from that platform to the tether.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. And nice little bonus, the spouse um of one of the developers was on my latest stream.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently they go around and like check out people streaming Astroneer.
Yeah.
Um, that's what got them into Twitch and stuff like that. And they just happened to be on mine because I was streaming Astroneer.
That's so cool.
And we talked about it, and like I told him like, tell your husband, um, I really like this game. It's a really cool game. And he apparently did the, so you know how everything is like glowy, like when you're connecting power and stuff like
Hmm.
that, the glowy parts. Yeah, those aren't textures apparently.
Oh.
That's done by using like math equations.
Oh, that's
So it's
cool.
like, so it's math. I've heard of this kind of programming before, where you can essentially program a look or a texture, but it's not a texture.
Hmm.
I don't know how you do it exactly. I'm not a programmer. But yeah, that was really cool to hear.
Wow.
Um, and they also gave me some tips, so that was really cool. It's like, oh my goodness, there's like a developer here.
That's so
Like
cool.
the only other developer that I know is a streamer that works for Ubisoft. Um, what is it? Ubisoft in Toronto.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, he doesn't really talk about like working at Ubisoft because when he streams, it streams. That's because that makes sense, right?
Yeah. You
It's
want
like
to
where he
keep a
works
business
from.
and private stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, this was very nice to see.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, it was really nice. I hope they come back.
Yeah.
Uh, and the next time I stream again. So that was really cool. It was really fun. That's also one of the reasons why I streamed for a really long time recently. It's like normally I stream for 2 hours every time I stream. Like this time I was on for like 4 hours.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because the chat was just like really vibing and just having a lot of fun. Outside of that, outside of Astroneer, I've been playing another game, not on stream, just off stream, called TeamFight Tactics, which is by Riot Games. It's a part of the whole League of Legends
Oh,
universe.
okay.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the term auto chess?
Oh.
Okay, so auto chess, like the name kind of implies, it's kind of like chess where you put like your, in this case, your champions on a board. They all have their own unique abilities and stuff like that, and unique traits and attacks and stuff like that. And they just every round you face off against another person, and it's like 8 people, and it's like 1v1. And the characters, they basically attack automatically, hence auto chess.
Mm.
And the whole point is to just like come like get a good team together. Every round you have a chance to buy and sell champions, and improve your composition of champions on the board. In terms of location, in terms of which champions. Buying more of the same champion gives you the chance to level them up, so that they get stronger and get more HP. You have different kinds. It's kind of like playing a trading card game, in that regard, but a, a slightly more complex. And to be 100% honest, I was never a fan of these kind of games.
Hmm.
But my best friend, you know him, Prof. He he was like very adamant to me getting into it because he plays it a lot.
Okay.
So when I started, it was like, yeah, I lost. I'm 8. I'm 7. I don't get it. It's because basically when you put the characters there, you just watch them play. And I just kept getting my butt handed to me. It's like, yeah, I'm not enjoying this, man. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something for you. So he made like this cheat sheet for me for like a very specific build that I can work towards every time. Um, so I used that for a while, and then I saw myself actually getting better at the game,
Oh, that's nice.
to the point where it is that I actually won a game
Oh, okay.
this past week. In fact, it was so good I won twice, not in a row, but on the same day. So that was really cool. I mean, I also got a little help from him with the second one, but the first one was all me.
Hey,
It
that's
was
nice. Look
all
at you
me, and it's
go.
like, so I was like, dude, I was messaging him like, dude, I won. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I was like, because he was working, I was sending him like the victory screen, like, look, I won. Look at my composition and blah blah blah. It's like, oh wow, yeah, I'm so proud of you. Like, yeah, let's when I get back, let's play a few rounds. Like, he came back and we played a few rounds. I was doing way better now. I would always end because before, like I said, there's 8 players that play. I usually end up like eighth, seventh, on a good day on the sixth place. But now I was doing like fourth place, third place, fourth place, third place, and then I won. And then it kind of went back to like fourth, third, fourth, third, fourth, third, and then I won again. So, yeah, that's been really good. I played some more today, before recording, and I think I ended like fourth again. But I had a really bad. Sometimes you just get dealt really bad hands,
Mhm.
and you just get like really crappy characters to work with, and you just can't make the composition of champions work for you.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
and he was like, you know what? Why don't you stream this and like have others? Because I did the Phasmophobia thing, with New Year's Eve, and I want to do something like that again, where I play with other streamers. And I figure out, by the way, a way around the whole co-streaming thing, because where there's a will, there's a way. Apparently, I found out about it because other people were using it. I was like, oh, well, they are clearly not Twitch partners, but they're able to do this, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was first kind of apprehensive. I might stream TeamFight Tactics in the future, but just not yet. He gave me a new cheat sheet that makes it so that I can be more flexible if I can't achieve the build that I want, and I can like basically flex my way to a path to victory. So I'm just gonna use that a bit, practice a bit more, try and be a bit more flexible in my strategies there. And yeah, maybe I will stream it in the future. But for now, um, it's gonna be Astroneer and other games that I feel like playing.
Nice.
And that's pretty much what I've been playing. Been playing a little bit of Animal Crossing, but I've been playing it less and less.
It eventually starts to wear off.
it eventually starts to wear off. Plus, I'm not one of those guys that like puts 100% effort into like their island.
Mm.
Even though when I go to other people's islands, I'm like, gosh darn, I kind of want to do that too. And then I try to, and it's like, yeah, it's just a lot of effort. But again, I'm not saying that I disrespect people that do. I love it that people do that, and I always will try to encourage people that do make awesome islands and improve their islands to continue to do what they do because it inspires me, and it's the thing that does keep me coming back to the game every now and then. So
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing.
Nice. Those some good games.
So yeah, definitely. So will you do us the honors?
I will try as always. So thank you everybody for tuning in to the second episode of season 4. Um, Still a bit
Oh
getting.
wait, sorry.
Oh,
Before you do, I almost forgot. So remember how we do these questions of the episode now?
yes, on the Spotify.
So we did one, yeah. So we did one a while ago, and we actually got a response, but we did not
Oh,
talk about it.
then let's do that.
Which is I feel like that's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not cool since someone actually took the effort
Yeah.
to answering. So this is from Ellenbro 2404. The question was from like 2 episodes ago. What's your game of the year?
Hmm.
And because we did not have an answer for ourselves.
Yeah.
And Ellenbro 2404 says Lost Judgment.
Oh
I don't
wow.
really have I don't really have a mind blowing game of the year, but Lost Judgment is just bloody hilarious, and I always it's a bit longer than that, and I always look forward to playing it after work,
Nice. I actually
which
am
is
looking forward to playing that game too. So
yeah, because it's actually kind of interesting because a lot of people are kind of divided about Lost Judgment. Not to say that they weren't divided on Judgment before, but with Lost Judgment, there were some improvements made to that game that made it slightly better than the first game, but also things that the first game was lacking that they still did. So people are like, Why aren't you improving on like these aspects? But you also added these aspects." But yeah, the game is kind of hilarious considering the main case involves mostly the main character being in and around a high school while he's clearly not a high school student, mostly because it's also about um, bullying and like bully prevention and stuff like that. Um, so it is an interesting story. Like it has a bunch of stuff that you can do, and I would love to play it, but I want to go through Judgment first before I even tackle Lost
I have
Judgment.
the same. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to either come down in price or appear on PSN as a PS Plus um, like temporary thing, like they do.
I think Lost Judgment was in the January sale, which like there's now 2 January sales. So like this is the second part, but I remember that it was in the first part
Hmm.
of the January sale because Judgment was also in the sale, but I didn't buy it. But I know,
Yeah,
yeah, that it was.
yeah. So that's the question of the podcast. I'll be sure to have a new question of the podcast for this episode as well. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can answer it there. I think I might start posting the same question on our Twitter. So if you'll continue with the outro, then people will know where they can answer the question.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that that we got a response. So thank you for that, and we are looking forward to many more responses in coming episodes.
Yeah.
And now for me to do the outro then. Thank you for tuning in to this second episode of season 4. We always appreciate your support. You can find us on your favorite podcasting platform: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast. I think Amazon. We're also on there. Amazon Music or something like that. I know that that's apparently
Not
also.
yet. I haven't fixed that yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. Once I've done, we'll be on there as well.
we're like on the major podcasting platforms. I don't know if the Amazon's a big one, but we are on Twitter, game underscore rivals underscore. You can also find Maximilian on Twitter at Maximilian. You can email us, gamerivalsfeedback@gmail.com. We're on YouTube. You can find the link in the description below. so you can see all our pretty faces. We are on Instagram at Game Rivals and at Maximilian_X, and also on Twitch um, at Maximilian_X or at Sean Templar. And on that note, I have been and always will be Sean Templar,
And I have been and will always be Maximilian X.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.